Oh, Nurgling.
Little nerd, he's so cute.
I know, he is really cute.
He just wants to give you a hug. Spit the demonic plague down your throat.
Well, yeah, there's that. Okay, everybody. Welcome in. Today, this clueless Warhammer man meets a giant Warhammer fan. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hello, everybody. My name is Gorgish. I've known Spence for quite a while now. And yeah, I'm a huge Warhammer nerd, both in real life, in video games. I read the books. I paint the miniatures. Big old nerd.
Yeah, so basically, I brought my good buddy in to tell me all the things I don't know about this game, because I did try it out, and it's a bunch of fun, but I don't know any of the lore. That's cool as hell.
Okay. That looked like some corn. Corn guy going on.
Corn with an H.
Yeah.
I know that much.
So he's an Ultramarine. That's what that Omega symbol signifies. That's a chapter of Space Marine. Yeah, they're like the poster boys for Space Marines.
I kind of thought all Space Marines were Ultramarines, so that shows you what I know.
Oh, well, that's tragic.
You know, I am who I am. Here's our first imminent
cultists. Yeah.
Oh, good night, sir. Bye. They were cultists.
He's got a little chainsword going.
Yeah, that's all I got right now. But I like that. Can you hear it revving up in the background?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. I got to show you my my other favorite move I've found so far. We'll wait for another cultist first. Doorway opened via switch. Anybody home? Hi. Just fucking ramming him. The fact that you can just run straight through a man and kill him is awesome.
Well, that's pretty common. Space Marines can run very fast, and it's not uncommon for them to just run through like a mortal, like a regular human, and just obliterate them.
It's too sick. And aren't they like 12 feet tall or something?
8 feet tall, I think.
Damn.
Yeah.
Alright, we gotta be quick here.
Then there is the Adeptus Custodes, who are crafted by the Emperor himself with his gene seed. They're a little bit bigger than Space Marines. They're like golden, extra special Space Marines that guard the Emperor. Well, his corpse now, because he's basically dead.
What the fuck? I have so much to learn.
Psychically, he's alive. Physically, he's basically dead.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
He exists in the warp, which is basically like a... It's basically where all our like emotions as humans like are projected into like entities.
It's pretty well.
He's basically almost like a fifth chaos god. Chaos exist in the warp. That's where they exist. So when they send like demons into our realm, they're basically doing the reverse of what psychers do in our realm.
Gotcha. Yeah, because the only thing I knew about the warp, or I'd heard about the warp, was the simplified version, and it was basically like, I don't know, space hell or purgatory or something similar. But I didn't know you could like pull things through it or exist in there. I guess it makes sense.
Yeah. So like these dudes, these cultists right now, like they're doing some type of ritual for Khorne. Maybe not Khorne, but there's a lot of red, so I'm assuming it's Khorne.
Yeah.
God of blood and war and fighting and angry things.
Isn't he the same? Wasn't he the god of the Orks, or is that a different big angry dude?
No, Orks.
I'm thinking of
Grumch.
And that might be. I think I'm thinking of D&D right now. So here we are.
Orks do have kind of their equivalent of gods. They have Gork and Mork.
Gork and Mork. They seem like party guys.
Orks are a whole different thing. They're actually mushrooms technically.
That's amazing. I had heard that, and I still don't know what it means that they're basically mushrooms, but I love the concept.
They like reproduce by spore. That's why like it's just like they kind of all look the same.
Oh shit.
Yeah, they're mushrooms basically.
So are the goblins just like not fully grown orcs?
Yeah, pretty much. They're like little snotlings, basically.
I'm gonna use that term in real life.
Yeah, I
Next
think
time I see a
there's
human
Gretchen.
child.
I think there's Gretchen and Grotz. I think they're the same. I'm not fluent in orc species.
Come on, man. I brought you on just for this.
I know a lot about Chaos and Space Marines and
Cool.
Adeptus Mechanicus and all of that.
Well, from what I've seen of this game, I think that's going to come in more handy than orc knowledge.
Yeah,
so
most of the
should be good.
games, there's not much to know about orcs. So they love to fight.
And apparently they have the world's strongest imaginations.
Yeah, they're the I think the main antagonist in the Space Marine game.
Yeah. I want to play that on the
them
channel.
and then Chaos. Yeah, it's a great game.
I
The
played
second one's
some,
coming out sometime this year.
Oh, I didn't know it was coming out that soon. That's awesome.
It got delayed, I think, from the pandemic.
Yeah, that tracks. Most things did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you were telling me that. So basically I'm firing tiny rockets right now, right?
Oh yeah. So these basically to us it would be a grenade launcher or like an RPG basically.
Yeah.
As mortals, but this 8 foot tall like just like freak. It's just like I don't even know what it's called, a bolt gun.
Yeah.
But the bolts that it's shooting are basically RPGs.
Oh, that's pretty fucking cool, man.
That's where like one shot is just like cultist should just explode from its chest.
Yeah. That is one thing I like about this. They pretty much do. Just
Yep.
doesn't say much.
See ya.
Bye.
That's pretty accurate.
Bye. If I don't sprint through them, then hello. Oh,
Can you sprint through them? Does it do anything?
just that.
Oh, okay. Yep. That's exactly what would happen.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to show you earlier, but it definitely makes it has a little more impact in this open area here.
So that guy had a heavy stubber turret. That's a pretty significant weapon for like a human.
Gotcha.
But these auto guns these guys use are like the most basic like two-handed rifle you can have. An auto gun, a las gun.
It's like kind of the AR-15 of this universe.
Yeah, las guns are pretty much for like regular humans. Which it's basically just laser.
Yeah.
These auto guns are even worse that these cultists have. They're basically the lowest gun you can have.
Gotcha. Okay, so can a human even like operate a bolter, or is it not even worth it? Oh hey, here's somebody.
Yeah, if you can, it would be a bolter is kind of like the equivalent of like a light machine gun.
Gotcha. Okay.
Maybe in like recoil, I guess. I'm not sure. There are definitely bolters that are more used by humans, for sure. There are even some humans, I think, that can use heavy bolters, but that would be you'd have to be trained, especially for that. I would think you'd have to be extra strong, or like have suspensors or something to help you deal with the recoil.
Yeah.
But yeah, bolt guns are interchangeable, but yeah, humans can have everything.
That's cool. I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm. Not as common,
just,
for
like,
sure. I would say the las gun or the auto gun are the most common. Or shotguns.
Knowing as little as I know about this universe, I figured that if a human tried to use a bolt gun, they would just like explode from recoil. So
that's a Chaos Space Marine right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say you haven't talked about them yet. What's their
and they look like by their iconography, their colors, they look like they belong to the Black Legion, which is kind of the main poster boy for the Chaos, just like the Ultramarines are the main poster boys for the Imperium. Chaos Space Marines, I should say. And they worship Chaos Undivided, so they don't worship a specific god, but they worship like all four. So sometimes specific units within their armies might be blessed by a certain god. Like they might have one unit blessed by Khorne that loves to get into combat, but an entirely another unit that is blessed by Nurgle and is rotting and is slowly walking across the battlefield and just not dying. But they don't worship any specific god, and they're led by Abaddon. Did a spoiler. Who is the main protagonist to the Imperium. And he goes all the way back to the Heresy. He was the first captain for Horus Lupercal, who was the arch traitor.
Gotcha. So all of the Chaos Space Marines and everything, that got its origin from the Horus Heresy. Is that right?
Yes, correct. So you're in the 41st millennium, so you're like 40,000 something, and the Heresy took place in the 31st or 30,000 something.
I didn't know that.
There were originally 20 legions of Space Marines. 2 of them are basically removed from Imperial records. We don't know what happened to them. But each legion is led by Primarch, who has been created directly by the Emperor.
Oh shit!
With his own DNA, yeah. So they're like extra superhuman. They're a mix between a Space Marine and the Emperor.
Okay.
And they each got their own legions.
Is that different than a Custodes, which you mentioned earlier?
Yeah. So the Custodes were called often called the first 10,000.
Oh, okay.
They were the first super soldiers that the Emperor made with his own like DNA, and they're to this day still like his personal guard, for lack of a better term.
Gotcha.
And then after that, he created the Primarchs. And while his Primarchs are being created, they got sent by Chaos, or possibly someone else, but it's not worth going into really. It's a whole other realm. But they all get sent, all these Primarchs as babies in like test tubes get sent across the galaxy. And the Emperor leads a great crusade to find all of his lost sons and conquer all of these lost Imperial worlds. Because prior to the Emperor conquering Earth, Earth was like lost to all the other worlds of humanity in the galaxy. Yeah, so they were all... There once was like a great empire of humankind before the Emperor ran Earth. And we got like so like greedy with technology, and we became psychically awake.
Our own hubris.
Yeah, and that's what caused people to start becoming psychers, and then it led to humanity falling, and then the Dark Age, basically, Age of Strife, where all of the worlds became disconnected across the galaxy.
Damn.
So the Age of Strife is where the Empire climb to power begins. He unifies Terra, Earth, and then goes on the Great Crusade and finds all of his lost sons, unites them with their legions of Space Marines that he's created for them. And then Horus, who was the favored child... Uh-oh, you're dead here.
What?
Horus, who was the favored child of the Emperor, gets killed. Or not killed, corrupted. Eventually does get killed. But corrupted by Chaos, and convinces half of his brothers to rebel against the Emperor. And that's where you get the Chaos Legions that you're fighting.
Interesting.
So the Night Lords are another famous one. Iron Warriors, they all have Primarchs, or some have Primarchs still, but some have lost their Primarchs.
Gotcha.
Yeah, some Primarchs are canonically dead and are not going to come back.
Lost their space papas. Uh-oh. Jump's a little squirrely in this game. Oh, all the way back here, huh?
So Horus is dead, and Abaddon was his first captain, so Abaddon became the leader of basically the Chaos Space Marines overall, and he's still active in the setting. And it looks like these Chaos Space Marines are of his Black Legion.
Gotcha. So, kind of the biggest of the big bads then is who we're up against right now, it seems.
His like lowest on the totem pole dudes are here doing some creepy ritual of some kind.
And we have Plague Toads.
That might be a lesser demon.
Let me get close up, we'll see. Kind of looks like one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
they look like they're little Nurgle demons.
That's what I was thinking.
Nurgle is the god of death and decay.
These guys definitely... They're not speaking life to me, I'll say that much.
So, Nurgle's kind of some people's favorite chaos god. Oh, looks like a plague marine up there. Because he basically stops you from dying, but at the same time infects you with like every disease that was ever been created.
Oh, shit.
but you become numb to it, and you just become like really like happy, but also melancholic. You're just very content with everything, but you're in a constant state of dying, but also being reborn. It's kind of disgusting, but also peaceful.
Yeah.
In a dark way.
Yeah, that's whack. I knew that, like, because that was always my impression, was like, why the fuck would you want to worship this guy if he's just gonna rot you, right? But hearing the rest of it, okay. I don't know if I can
Yeah, he's
condone
kind
it,
of
but I
like
get it.
where you just kind of give up to him, so you just want to like sleep or rest or
Nurgle,
not fight
take
anymore.
the wheel.
Exactly. Where Khorne, who I mentioned before, would kind of manifest himself, kind of not less knowingly, I guess, for some people, but overall less knowingly. Like, over time, you just become like very resentful of your place in society, and you start getting angry, having violent thoughts. That's kind of how Khorne grabs you and corrupts you. That's why I'm back.
Oh, is Khorne the blood god? Is he the blood for the
Yes.
blood god? Okay,
Exactly.
skull for the skull throne, all that jazz.
Mm-hmm.
The man's got his branding on point, I gotta say. That's just sick.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Khorne. He's currently the only Chaos God that I own models for, like in any setting.
Nice.
Yeah.
How big are the models for, like, the Chaos Gods?
The Chaos Gods aren't represented in the tabletop. They're just like, they're two large entities.
Well then, what were you saying you do have then?
I don't have any Primarchs, which would probably be some of the biggest models
Gotcha.
that do exist. You can play with, like the Primarch of the Ultramarines, who's the chapter you're playing right now. Rabute Gilliman.
Oh. That traditional
He
name.
exists as a model, yeah. They're kind of like Roman inspired.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of cool.
Another Primarch that is out there is Lionel Johnson, Primarch of the Dark Angels. They're kind of inspired by like the Knights of the Round Table, like old Arthurian legends and like secrets, stuff like that.
Oh. Like the, like, you got these crazy names. Then you got Lionel Johnson.
You know what the best one is? Well, not the only, but the first Primarch to get killed was Ferrus Manus. Do you want to take a guess what Ferrus Manus means in Latin?
Is that Iron Man?
Just Iron Hand.
Iron Hand.
Yeah. And do you want to guess what legion Ferrus Manus leads?
I'm gonna let you tell me.
The Iron Hands.
That's awesome.
And you want to guess something else? You want to guess what special feature? All the Primarchs have like special features. You want to guess what these Ferrus Manus' special features are?
It's probably something to do with metal and one of your appendages.
Yeah, his hands are metal.
Amazing.
Something happened where he like dipped his hands in like a special metal on his planet, and they became metal.
Whoa. What does that do for him?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of benefits does he get from that?
He was really into like smithing, like weapons and armor, so he was able to smith without like any protection because his hands were just like metal.
It's raw dogging the blacksmith.
I'm not really sure anything. He was very skillful of crafting things, but then he got his head cut off at the beginning of the heresy, so it didn't really help him in the long run.
Yeah, no. Turns out he should have had an iron head.
Yeah.
Maybe that would have worked.
Yeah, that would have helped him out. Yeah, they're all of his sons are like really obsessed with like replacing their body parts with augmetics, cybernetics. Cool. Yeah, they think their flesh is weak. I think there's just daddy issues though.
It disgusted me.
Disgusted me. That's the Adeptus Mechanicus, baby. Those are my dudes and women
those are
and
boys.
Non-gendered entities.
Speaking of, I didn't want to say anything, but speaking of gender in Warhammer, is it the Custodes that people are now all of a sudden all up in arms with because there are women Custodes now?
Only like the sweatiest of misogynists who care about that. I'm sure they exist in 40k, but it's definitely a sweaty game. You get a lot of dwellers of basements,
Yeah.
subterranean domiciles coming out and spreading their opinions.
Oh yeah. But mostly on the internet, it seems. Everyone I've talked to is like, yeah, I haven't seen any of that in person, which is good.
No, they don't play in person. I'm sure most of those people that like on Reddit posting about it are people who don't even actually play.
Probably. That's where I saw it. So
yeah,
I don't play.
And most people don't read the lore.
Yeah.
And I've unfortunately just finished. Well, fortunately, unfortunately, I just finished like the majority of the Horus Heresy series.
Yeah.
50 plus books.
God damn. Well, I was gonna ask.
I did it all on audiobook. It was great.
That would be the way to do it. That's smart.
They have really good narrators. So.
Not sponsored, but I would be if you're interested. So tell me, do you know anything about these little dudes? Because I noticed that there's a giant pink demon that spits shit at me.
Those
he
are
splits in half when he
so
dies.
the thing that was spitting is a pink horror. And then when they die, they can potentially split into blue horrors, where the two little blue dudes. They throw their wart flame at you, and they are lesser demons of the god Tzeentch, who is the god of change and like secrets. Yeah, and like manipulation and truths, untruths, double thinks.
It's the 1984 god.
2 + 2 = 5 type shit.
Terrifying, but very strong, probably.
So
and
it seems we've seen 2 out of the 4 gods so far.
Yeah, at least represented.
Any looks idea like we might be going. That looks like potentially Slaaneshi.
Cool. That's the horny one, right?
Yeah, she's the horny. Well, the dark. I think it's called the Dark Prince. Yeah, but she's the horny one. She who thirsts. So she's a relatively new in the terms of Chaos Gods and the warp. She's the newest Chaos God.
Gotcha.
She was actually birthed. I don't know if you know anything about the
oh wait,
Eldar,
I think I did read about this. Let me see if I'm gonna tell you my take on it. Tell me how wrong I am.
Let's hear it.
So the Eldar basically got pre-40k. They got way too powerful, right? And everything was too good and for too long, and they had like these huge debaucherous feasts and whatnot. And during one of those feasts, it got a little too buck wild, and basically they were just kind of like born from the bloodshed there, if I remember the brief synopsis I read. Is that anywhere close?
That's true.
Oh.
Yeah. They were so deviant and like consuming of every one of life's like delicacies.
Yeah.
So hedonism. Yeah, hedonistic, perfect example. In both like pleasure and pain, every sense that you can imagine, they wanted excess over the time. Essentially, the god of excess.
Yeah, that's
born from their debauchery, and she specifically has claim to all of Eldar souls that enter the warp. So whenever we kill an Eldar, which we all love doing as loyal members of the Imperium,
right.
their soul goes into the warp and she devours it because she is born of specifically Eldar's presence in the warp.
Oh. Actually,
yeah, her cultists. Yeah, her cultists and demons you'll see as like can't tell if it's male or female. They are often both at the same time.
Yeah.
Claws mixed with like beautiful human flesh, and then a claw will be coming out of it.
As it should.
Yeah. As much as they're into like sex, they're into like covering themselves with blood.
Yeah, it's kind of like one and the same in their minds.
Yeah, they're really fast. They want to get into combat and like attack you with like whip you and lash you and kill you slowly, but with 1,000 cuts.
That's that would be the horny way to do it. So I guess that tracks.
Those bigger demons are flamers. They're pretty nasty.
What's their deal? I don't love them.
They just spew flame. Very creepy. Tzeentch is like the hardest one to kind of describe. Look at. I'm not sure if there's much rhyme or reason to like his demons that spawn from him or her. They kind of just like dream like they're not really based off of anything.
Yeah, it almost seems like kind of Cthulhu-esque, and also maybe just kind of the rest of the demons, you know, the ones that were harder to categorize, like these dudes.
Yeah, I think Tzeentch might be my favorite. If I was to play like a demon army or something like that, I would go Tzeentch. I think it's cool.
That'd be dope.
His greater demons are like, I don't know. I don't want to spoil it. I don't know. If we're seeing these lesser demons, I'm assuming we might see greater ones later on. So
all right. Then we'll hold off on it then. Do you know what this means?
Yeah, that's Tzeentch's symbol.
Oh, well, there we go. That tracks. It's a big ass door that apparently it's a big ass wall. My bad. Take some punishment there, which I guess tracks.
Yeah.
Big old dudes.
Veterans of the Long War, Chaos Space Marines. So they're I think most Chaos Space Marines are still like left over from. Well, I shouldn't say most. There are still Chaos Space Marines that are left over from the Heresy.
Gotcha.
Because the warp doesn't obey our physics, so time gets dilated and changed and shortened, elongated. So you can have dudes that are like what we think are 10,000 years old, but they might only be like a couple hundred years old in reality.
So, do they spend most of their time in the warp when they're not like out fucking with people? The Chaos Space Marines?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, hey.
That's a Terminator.
I don't find out why he's called that. Kind of just standing there, though. Okay.
Yeah, he was a lame Terminator.
That's why you die. That's why you're 2D now.
Terminators are still Space Marines. It's just they have Terminator armor.
Gotcha.
Which is like the elite, like heavy, pretty much the heaviest armor Space Marines can wear, like on foot.
Sick. And then
I think he was wielding like a Reaper autocannon.
I thought you were just. Go for it. I was just talking to the enemy.
Yeah, autocannons are sweet. They're like basically bolters, but they shoot bigger bolts.
Very cool. Hey, fellas. Fancy meeting you here. Alright.
Oh, I wonder, get a plasma or a multigun. I want to see what those look like.
No, all I've got right now is my shotgun. And my bolter. Yeah, they don't seem to hand out weapons super fast, but hopefully we'll see some more. Excuse me.
The shotgun is pretty cool.
Yeah. Is the shotgun big in 40k? I mean, like...
Not for Space Marines, no.
Yeah, okay.
It's definitely used amongst scouts, which are like kind of aspirant Space Marines. Like before you become a full-fledged Space Marine, you're in the scout company.
Gotcha.
You're basically almost the full size of a full Space Marine, but you don't wear their armor. You wear like a kind of a light armor, kind of scout ahead, as scouts would.
Makes sense.
They use shotguns sometimes.
Okay. And that makes sense if you're like going to be on the front lines and getting close.
Mm-hmm. And they humans also use shotguns. They're definitely in the setting for sure.
Body check that guy. Couldn't run through him like the puny humans, though.
Typically, demons aren't that susceptible, for video games. And on the tabletop, you have to make it work. But demons aren't generally, in the lore, susceptible to, like, bolt or fire, las guns, or anything like that.
Oh, that's
They're pretty invulnerable to, like, our physical weapons. They're more susceptible to, like, psychic attacks and
gotcha.
Power weapons.
Power weapons like... What kind of power weapons? Because when you're when you're in a universe where your regular gun shoots rockets, like what does a power weapon look like?
So you have like a regular sword, and then a power sword is basically powered. I'm not sure exactly what powers them, but they glow blue or different colors, and they are become very much stronger, and they're able to essentially cut through demons better. I don't really know the whole physics behind. I do know that like people who are psychically or psychers, basically psychically active, they can empower their power weapons to become force weapons, which are like really good against demons because you're basically channeling warp energy into your weapon.
Okay. So I found earlier
anytime, yeah, go ahead.
I found a secret that gave me the power of the what did it say? Blessing of the Omnissiah, which is why my gun is now glowing green. Do you think that's kind of the same deal, or is that a whole different power up?
Omnissiah is probably it's a power up from the machine god, so it's probably just making your bolter stronger or shoot faster. Ooh, that looks like a plasma gun.
Ooh,
yeah, buddy.
Wow, that made my frames chug there for a second. That's alright.
Plasma good against demons too, and it's better against like heavier armored folks. These little cultists, they don't call for plasma.
Good call. Maybe you though.
Space Marines though? Yeah. Totally.
Hell yeah. Oh, hi. Yeah, I remember this room. I died in here a few times last night, but this is actually about as far as I made it. So we'll be getting to new stuff soon.
You might be able to overcharge the plasma gun. It's pretty typical of any plasma weaponry. You could overcharge it, but every time you overcharge it, it comes with potential to blow up in your face and kill you.
I'm just gonna keep firing it and see if it blows up in my face, because it certainly seemed like it wanted to for a second there. Hey. Mind me.
Hectic.
I know, right? Now it's feeling more like Doom 2016. Ugh. I feel like a real Space Marine probably wouldn't jump as much as I am, but...
A real Space Marine, and if he was in your position, would be like fighting with melee weapons at this point, probably.
Yeah. That makes sense. Thanks for reminding me that I have a chainsword. Alright, looks like we made it through. Lots of blood and guts everywhere. And that's the end of the level.
My fiance is out of town, so my whole plan was just to model this entire weekend, pretty much. Paint.
Nice.
Trying to hit a tournament at the end of May, and I need to be fully painted for it.
Or else they'll make fun of you.
You just lose 10 points, straight up.
Oh shit, okay.
Yeah, there's like a battle-ready requirement standard for tournaments.
Honestly, I respect it.
Yeah, because otherwise people would just, people with meta-chase would just play with, like, plastic all the time and never paint it.
Yeah, true. That makes sense. It would be it's a lot more difficult to change your army when you have to paint the whole thing.
Exactly.
Okay, I see you. This is a
then there's the whole commission part of it where people just pay other people to paint their armies.
Oh yeah. Oh, Nurgling.
A little nerd, he's so cute.
I know, he is really cute.
He just wants to give you a hug. Spit the demonic plague down your throat.
Well, yeah, there's that. That's kind of the...
But it's going to make you cozy. You're going to get really comfortable. You're going to take a seat, not really move for a couple hundred years.
It's kind of like me in college, actually.
You definitely worship Nurgle in college.
Absolutely. I think we all did a little bit, you know? I'll admit, I was a
Slaneshi follower.
Yeah, that's true. Nice and squishy in here.
So, your character probably has, well, the Primarch for your character's chapter was recently in the warp in Nurgle's garden, which is like his realm in the warp.
Yeah. With
one of the Emperor's relics, his sword, so it's very strong in the warp because the Emperor is very psychically active in the warp. So Rabute, who's your Primarch, went into the warp, went to Nurgle's garden, and started like burning the whole garden with the Emperor's sword. It was like a big deal. Damn. So it was like one of the first times someone's actually like hurt a god like directly. It very rarely happens in the setting.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
What does Nurgle's garden look like? I can't imagine it's as pleasant as it sounds.
Probably a lot of like boogers all over the place, that type of stuff.
It's kind of like this.
Kind of like this, but like everything is covered in it. It's like dreamlike place.
Everything is made of the boogies. Goodbye, sir.
Oh,
I like
it's
their
Plague
little...
Marine.
Oh, was that the... I just killed him. I didn't even...
Oh, no, never mind. Just a regular Space Marine.
I like how dramatic they are. Like, throwing a hand up as they die. That's really... Hello. Is that a plasma gun?
Very dramatic bunch. Yeah, it's plasma gun.
Yeah, I feel
like... For some reason, the evil plasma guns are orange and red, and the good plasma guns are blue.
Oh, as they should be, yeah.
Yeah, like, not that like they do anything different. They both just shoot plasma, but
it's Star Wars rules.
I mean, this IP is so old. It's like the mid-late 80s. So like they have those classic sci-fi tropes, but they kind of just rode them out, and it's just part of the setting now. Even though it's way more like realistic and modern.
I like that though.
Like the Iron Hands and Ferrus Manus being the leader of the Iron Hands.
Yeah, that's amazing. I feel like that's kind of what gives this setting its, it keeps it from being too, like, gross. Sometimes you know, like you need some of that
They call it like grimdark is the setting, right?
Yeah.
It's very, very dorky at the same time.
But in the best way possible. Yeah. The old grimdark. Oh, bye, buddy. Just jump off the ledge there. That's fine with me.
Have you played, are you into CRPGs at all?
Not as much as I want to be, weirdly. But I think it's because most of my RPG brain space is taken up by JRPGs. And I am a weeb in this way.
I am not a weeb. I watch some anime, but I'm not a big JRPG guy. Except for Pokemon, which is very loosely a JRPG.
True.
But I'm a huge CRPG fan. I haven't played Rogue Trader yet, and I need to start playing it.
Yeah, you were telling me about that during the sale. Did you end up buying it though? You just haven't played it yet?
No, I didn't buy it yet. I'm sure it'll go on sale again, but
yeah.
Yeah, ever since Warhammer, it's like I've got into the tabletop again. I've like cut my gaming time in half, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah. Always good to diversify the hobbies.
Still gaming, technically.
True. You know. But you're also into arts and crafts now.
Yeah.
Okay, so I made it back out to this courtyard where I was before. I now have a purple key, but the door that I thought I was going to need that to open was the door I came back. Maybe this is it. This is probably it, right?
It's definitely purple. Oh, yeah.
Hello.
I think you might start seeing some crab people soon.
Crab people, crab people.
I want to stick their tongues down your throat with no consent.
Oh.
There's a lot of like tentacles and long tongues with Slaneshi corrupted people.
That makes sense. That tracks. Oh no, I hurt myself. I have 3 life right now. That's unfortunate for me. Ever seen an Ultramarine die? Because you might.
Yeah, I've killed many Ultramarines in my time.
Oh, we got a badass over here.
I have a buddy who plays Ultramarines.
Oh, nice. So yeah, okay, this is a good point where I feel like we're not being introduced to a whole lot of new stuff at the moment. Tell us about your army in real life and why you chose them.
Well, I have 2 armies. My main army is the Adeptus Mechanicus, so that tech priest you saw at the beginning. Is an example of like one of the leaders of my not her directly, but what some of the leaders of my faction look like. And as I kind of talked about earlier, they're from Mars originally, and they just love machines. They integrate themselves directly with machines, but they're definitely anti-artificial intelligence.
Okay.
Which is a big deal in the setting. Like, how close? What is artificial intelligence? Like, how close can something be to artificial intelligence before it's like heretical and like anti Omnissiah?
That's kind of prophetic,
yeah,
honestly.
yes. And how I got into them was basically their models look so cool. They're like a recent army, so I think all of their sculpts are like from 2015 to 2017 or later.
Nice.
So definitely one of the newer armies. And when you're one of the newer armies, you have like way more detailed and interesting and varied sculpts.
Yeah.
And I played when I was a kid, but I didn't start playing again until I was in probably 2021, I want to say. Like January 2021 is when I started collecting again. But like during that entire gap, like 15 years, 13, 15, something like that, I was always checking the store just to see like, oh, well, what's like the new army or new model they're releasing now. And when I saw Adeptus Mechanicus in like 2021, I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy their start collecting box.
That's it. I'm back in.
Yep. And then I had like start collecting box, and then a few other boxes of dudes, and then I got COVID in early February.
Oh yeah.
That plague toad in particular. And all I did was paint for 2 weeks in my room in quarantine.
That's crazy.
And that just hasn't really stopped since, honestly.
There you go. I feel like that was the one good thing from COVID. I feel like everybody picked up new or reignited with their old hobbies in a way that you kind of had to stay sane at that point. But I'm glad it's not just like a passing thing, you know?
The community that I'm a part of in the city is kind of crazy. It like was back in 2021 of like August when I first started playing in person. It was like 4 or 5 people that were like on the Discord and meeting up like on a like monthly, semi-monthly basis. And yesterday I was at a meetup on Thursday, which we have one on Tuesday, one on Thursday every week. There was like 15 people there, and then that was basically like max the amount of people we could have in the room.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's just one of the stores. Yeah. So it's like blown up over the past 4 years for sure. Definitely the biggest it's ever been. I have to paint a model for a Necromunda game on Tuesday or Sunday.
There you go. Send me pictures.
Get my airbrush out. Yeah, I'll send you my gang. It's a pretty gang. They're all corn followers. They chop people up and eat them. Corpse grinder cult.
Nice. That's a good name.
So that's a fun fact. Do you know what the main food source is in the Imperium of Mankind, the 41st millennium?
I do not. I'm a little concerned how we got to this.
Corpse starch.
Hmm.
You can make anything out of corpse starch. You can make some nice bread. You can make impossible meat out of it. You know.
Yeah.
Do you know where it comes from? Corpse starch. Take a guess.
Would it be dead people?
Yes, you grind their corpses. Hence, corpse grinder cults. Corpse grinder cults are the arm of mankind that literally grinds corpses for a living. And in the setting, they can easily become corrupted by corn because, you know, as grinding corpses might do, make you go insane.
That makes sense. I was gonna say, so these people are like, so they're sanctioned by the Imperium until they go insane and join the Legion.
Yeah, until they get so sick of grinding corpses and eating corpse starch that they start wanting to eat fresh meat, and they become a corn cult.
That's
unknowingly, and then they go hunt people and eat their meat.
Alrighty. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. Thank you so much to Gorg for stepping in and making sure I learned a little bit more about Warhammer. So,
of course, thanks for having me.
Yeah, anytime. Do you have anything you want to plug? My countless followers.
The flesh is weak, and praise the Omnissiah. Ave Omnissiah.